Dyer's pick.
You are muted again.
God, I'm not having a good night, am I?
Radiant's pick.
Well, you're having a
Really
good
not a good
night. You're just, we can't hear you having a good night.
I really think that if they're gonna go Death Ball, they really need to go all in on Death Ball, and already so deep on the Tidehunter. I mean, from the grinding deeps, actually. Just jeez. I love this hero. I had a really good night with him last night, and it just makes me so happy.
For those who don't get that reference, Ever and I
10
were
seconds
queuing
to
last
go.
night, and I think it was, what, 3 5-man Ravages in a
Dyer's
row?
pick.
Yeah, I had to
Followed
shove
by
it
a
first
Requiem of
base.
Souls off of my Shadow Fiend. It was glorious. Like, it was one
There
of
was
those games
explosions.
that if you were watching, if you were casting, you live to cast those kind of games. I remember I would always pray for the Darkseer Shadow Fiend combo because there is something almost therapeutic about watching a vacuum right on top of a just Requiem of Soulsing Shadow Fiend, dealing half the HP pool to every hero caught by it. So
Dyer's ban.
I don't know. It's those kind of things, man, that just really make me excited about Dota. I love big ultimates. And now we've got our very own from the
Fireworks,
Tidehunter,
man.
as well as the Ember Spirit. He's going to have the Sleight of Fist, not exactly an ultimate, but still a crazily awesome ability that
seconds to
scales
go.
really well into the late game. Whereas the Better Justice League, they're going to go ahead, oh, sorry, the Better
5 seconds.
Justice League, they're going to go ahead and drop the Dazzle and Vengeful Spirit as their first 2 picks, going with
Radiant's
the
ban.
common 2 support first draft.
I just already setting off fireworks is literally gaming with an Ember Spirit and a Tidehunter. I think Ember Spirit has the ability to be countered being picked up this early, but it just
10 seconds
such
to
an
go.
aggressive draft. I love it so much.
Yep.
Tidehunter is nigh impossible to zone
5
off that
seconds.
off lane. I don't think Dazzle's going to be able to do it. And they already had a plan of which support
Reserve
set that they
time.
wanted to go. It's going to be up to how well this Vengeful can actually roam and find an early Ember Spirit kill out of mid lane if he's placed there. Maybe we see an Invoker. I think that's really, really good to couple with the
Dyer's
Ember
ban.
Spirit. The only hero I think that doesn't fit, like you could go Mirana on literally gaming, and that's a really freaking good pickup. Like this lineup is already scary because of what hasn't been banned out. You see Brewmaster ban. That's fine. You don't need to follow up
10
with the
seconds to
Brewmaster.
go.
Ember is so elusive on his own that he doesn't necessarily need the frontline defense when he has
5
backup from
seconds.
Tidehunter. It's like an early chess move when you just have really
Reserve
good
time.
positioning and anything. Like you have the world at your fingertips right now for literally gaming, and you see Slardar ban away, and as well as the Tinker now that won't go up against the Ember
Radiant's ban.
Spirit. So what do you put, I guess, up in mid against an Ember Spirit potentially here?
There is very little that I'd say you could do against it. Now, don't quote me on this, but I've actually seen a lot of success with, get this, the Meepo pick versus Ember
10
Spirit
seconds
mid.
to go.
The reasoning being, what you want to do when you're going up against an Ember Spirit is you want to
Radiant's
burst
pick.
down that Flame Guard as fast as possible so you can get in and deal the damage you need to do without him being able to have that Radiance-like burn on you at all times. So heroes with high amounts of burst damage, maybe you've got the Queen of Pain, you've got the Puck, something that can get rid of the Flame Guard and then deal the damage you need to do. So I would say anything with burst can win against the Ember Spirit mid. And
10
it may
seconds to
seem
go.
counterintuitive. You're thinking, going back like, oh, well, if you draft a lot of
5
magical
seconds.
damage, he's just going to block it out. But that's a Radiance Burn. That is a huge damage over time that he's got
Reserve
going for them
time.
if you don't take off that shield. That's what allows him to man fight heroes like Pudge or like Dragon Knight or anything in the mid lane, is that burn that he's got. So if you get rid of that, you win the lane. Fair and square. Easily.
I agree with it. I got in a discussion about Meepo the other day, and someone just told me the hardest pick you can actually do to counter a
Dyer's
Meepo
pick.
is a Lich. And I
Oh, don't
don't
get me
necessarily
started.
disagree with it.
Don't get me
It's
started
insane.
on Lich. Lich is the perfect counter for Meepo. You pick up a Meepo, if the enemy picks up a Lich, you might as well just GG out at the 5-minute mark. I'm not lying.
Eh?
Like, there is nothing Meepo can do against that. Nothing. I mean, you can try microing all you want, but the amount of
There's
damage
going to be
it's
no
gonna-
amount of Michael to save you.
I don't.
10 seconds to go.
I go back. I reference. It was Fnatic with
5
Excalibur
seconds.
versus I think either EG or Alliance or something along those lines, where
Reserve
they had a
time.
Meepo versus a Lich, and even Excalibur, widely thought of as
Radiant's
the
pick.
best Meepo player in the pro scene, or very close to. could not out micro the Frost Blast or the Chain Frost. It's too much. It makes this hero literally the most useless hero in the game. And there are very few hero to hero counters that I think work on that same scale. But Lich Meepo has got to be one of the most broken counters, I think.
10 seconds to go.
Existing.
This draft is insane.
Yeah,
I like
literally gaming
seconds.
are literally ultimates. I mean, Enigma and Tidehunter, it's going to be incredible
Reserve
to watch
time.
this, by the way. If they can actually get what we want them to get off, then it's going to hit the fan. Like,
I wanna
it's
see
going to hit the fan
Luna.
and cover the walls.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, Ravage is going to be your initiation. Black Hole to follow up anyone who's, caught up in this. The only person that they have to make sure is caught out is Vengeful Spirit, so she doesn't swap anyone out of that.
Well, she swaps
Pug-
anyone out. Like, she puts herself in
Dyer's
that
pick.
position, too.
That's fine. That's an easy trade, dude, versus your Weaver? Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, versus your Weaver, sure, but to be perfectly honest, the chances of the Vengeful Spirit not being caught in it in the first place are very slim. The one I'd worry about now is the Puck. Like, that pickup is perfect. Waning Rift has got to be one of the best ways, aside from the big surprise Lich, to
10
destroy the
seconds to
Enigma's
go.
ultimate. I mean, he jumps in, his,
5
God.
seconds.
His, damn it, I cannot remember what it's called. Waning Rift. Didn't I just
Reserve
say it?
time.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you did. Like
His
3
Waning
seconds prior
Rift
to that.
has a great range. He can blink outside of the black hole, Waning Rift, and cancel the black hole. Now, he probably won't get caught in the Ravage if he plays careful, but if he does get caught in the Ravage, he's as good as gone. So he's got to be careful with his positioning.
I still really, 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 and I know this might sound greedy, but I really want to see Invoker. Like, so bad. He can solo a top lane so well, and you could grab whatever, like, fit in whatever support you want. Any support at that point is really, really good. You could grab anything from Rubik,
Radiant's back.
except that. Can I just eat my words now? Does that one make sense? Okay. That's a lot of melee, but, I mean, why not? That's, apparently we're going Casino Magi.
Dyer's
Yeah,
banned.
I wouldn't
So-
be upset with a Casino Magi, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, he provides a lot of depth in the sense that he can stun one hero down. He can increase a lot of vulnerability to the damage with his flame. If he manages to get something like an Ags, he can really deal some crazy
10
amounts of
seconds to
damage and
go.
extra blasting to stun. Really effective hero. His
5
issue is the
seconds.
fact that he's a melee support that doesn't have the shutdown potential like an Earthshaker does. But apparently they
Reserve
have
time.
a plan for what they want out of him, and that's fine. I was hoping that they would go a more push-heavy hero because I think Luna would be great to pick up as a carry in this instance because her aura provides the Eidolons such great depth that they can mow towers down. Forge Spirits from Invoker kind of couples in with that. There's so much that they can do out of that that's effective. I don't think Casino Magi kind of plays into that, but what he will do is allow them and afford them the opportunity to burst down some of these relatively squishy heroes, especially if they can manage to get something off
Oh my.
prior to Dazzle
Dyer's
throwing
pick.
in Shallow Grave. And there's a Huskar pickup with Shallow Grave. I hear that's pretty good.
A Huskar pickup versus all of this magical damage has got to be one of my favorite pickups thus far. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you've got everything from the magic damage of the Flaming Spears to blow down the Flame Guard of Ember Spirit, all the way to being able to survive through Ogre Magi's well thought to be
10 seconds
insanely
to go.
overpowering damage from his Flame Blast. I mean, it's
5
a good
seconds.
pickup. Now, is it the best pickup? I don't know. I don't think Huskar is an incredible hero in and of
Reserve
himself,
time.
but he's a strong hero and he should be able to fare pretty well versus what Literally Gaming have to offer. Now, starting at a team fight at low HP isn't exactly the best, which he might be doing with all the magical damage from Literally Gaming, but he'll be able to survive, and that is the most you can ask for.
I definitely agree. I think there's so much that he can
10
evade, and
seconds to go.
I just think of Shallow Grave. He's going to go ham. If they
5
focus him and they get a Shallow Grave off, his attack speed goes up to 1 billion. And, well, at least there's the Eidolon support. I mean, Enigma and Drow Ranger have widely, since Dota 1, been thought of as some of the best push potential in the entire game. So I'll agree with that pickup. It gives them the much-needed range that they need. Enigma, for all intents and purposes, is melee range because he's got to get in for that black hole. So I think literally gaming literally needs to be on top of justice
Yes, you've
in
joined
order
in that
to.
pun.
I know.
I have had an influence
I,
on this. I can go home now.
I'm good with really crummy puns if you've ever seen Proven iCast.
Oh,
That's all we
no, I
do.
have.
We just think of really cheesy puns the entire game because it makes amateur Dota so much more fun. But it's going to be Banana on Huskar again. So that means Huskar goes mid against Miko, which is on the Ember Spirit. This is going to be awesome. I'm really excited to cast this game now because I haven't cast a Huskar in 6-7 months.
Yeah, I wasn't Huskar one of the heroes not even picked at the TI4 main event.
Better get ready.
Yeah, and they talked about it later. I don't know if you saw that DK drama when it was coming out and evolving, but DK actually had a really good Huskar strategy with burning, and they never utilized it. And it was unfortunate that they didn't because I think there's a lot of tricky strategies they could have gone against LGD to obtain a win. But, sometimes I think people take competitive Dota so seriously when if you play that tournament over again, in my humble opinion, you get a different result almost every time.
Oh yeah,
it
the best of one series. I don't think a lot of teams grasped the idea that had. I mean, I don't know what to call that that draft. I guess a shotgun best of one. I don't know, round robin, whatever it was. No, I'm talking about the initial best of one series.
30 seconds to showtime.
I mean, there were so much possibility for you to bring out the most crazy draft because best of ones, anything can happen. So I'm surprised I didn't see anything crazy like those kinds of pickups, especially when I think it was Fnatic that drafted Huskar and absolutely dominated as Era, or was it Trixie, someone like that on the Huskar. So I don't know. It's a good hero, and you can have a lot of nice little drafts to revolve around it. And I'd love to see how the Justice League play it out. But it's going to be literally gaming, looking to win this game as they need to win it to save themselves a tie on their stats. If they lose this, they drop down even further on the brackets, and the Justice League sit themselves in a more comfortable position.
I hope that it pans out for Justice because I really like exciting Huskar play. I think that in terms of the best of one play, the reason why I really liked it from a statistical standpoint, and I'm not a numbers guy at all. I'm all about ebb and flow of the games and exactly how they go. And it's just interesting because you see some of the best Dota, I think, get played statistically when things boil down. If you're really good at the game, it's going to show regardless of whether or not it's best of ones. And yes, anything can happen, but that's what I love about it. It really wide open the format, but statistically, can we argue that the best teams definitely averaged themselves out into that, top positioning? And I think they did. I really firmly believe that the best teams averaged themselves into that top 8 position.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes they gave up a loss that they shouldn't have. Liquid Arrow, was it Arrow? I think it was Arrow. But other times, things just worked out the way they should have been. Now, we should probably introduce the teams as things are already happening. Easy might actually give up a first blood. No, he does not. But I'm going to start out with Literally Gaming here in the top lane. Really quick, it's going to be JB on the Drow Ranger with Ogre Magi helping her out on being played by Easy here. It's going to be Tom Cruise on the Enigma. That's the wrong team. It's going to be Miko on the Ember Spirit, and dropping the ball is Ted Banana Slam Jamma on the Huskar.
Okay. I thought you were doing LG.
I did. Yeah, I did. Oh my God, it's Royston on the Tidehunter.
Okay. I was like, yeah, well, I guess I can take over from there. For the Justice side of things, we have Banana Slam Jamma on that Huskar. You were saying he switched off and showed some versatility. He is actually taking the safe lane and doing a good job against Royston right now. Yeah, I think he's got it.
Yep,
so much burn coming down. He's going to try and actually TP out. Does he get away?
Not gonna live.
Does.
No use crying over spilled blood.
Burn damage is too much at that point. It ticked him down too low, and even the tower regen couldn't have saved him.
Had to happen.
I thought for sure the well was going to be safe haven for him. But yeah, no, I was wrong, and that's all right to be wrong. Das Bear Jew on the Vengeful Spirit, Shay on the Weaver, Rainbow Dash on Dazzle, and Crixus taking up mid lane on Puck against that Ember Spirit. So really interesting way to pan out the draft. And normally you don't see, I would say, a Weaver in an offensive try, but against a Drow and an Ogre, I think he has every right to be there. What can they do?
Yeah, I think it's more, the offensive try, I really think is more of a protective thing for him, I think. Silence and stun in this lane is going to be awful for Weaver. And you think of how long the cooldown is for the Scoochie at the earlier levels. I mean, if he Scoochies in and maybe catches himself in a difficult position, gets stunned out, then immediately silenced, he's not going to be able to do nearly anything to get himself out of there. So the supports are just going to try to zone off the enemy Ogre Magi a little bit, maybe rotate around and find a kill in the jungle, and Banana Slam Jamma finding another kill in the bottom lane. Huskar is paying for itself already.
He's gonna go bananas. Like, this game is just gonna be off the chain for Huskar. I really, it's unfortunate because right now you're seeing the CS, you know, the creep score away from that top lane. Drow has nothing. She's 6-0, 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes in, so we're entering minute 5 here, and the Ogre doesn't have the ability to provide her anything. I just really am confused at the positioning. I hope they switch it up. They can move the Tide up here. I think he can sustain what these three can do. He's got enough experience that he can get involved very early, even if he needs to leave someone back. But they have got to get this Drow some sort of advantage out of this lane right now, and Enigma's in no position to do so, at least for another 4 minutes.
Yeah, but now Shea Doctor, it looks like he wants to start diving now. The silence will come out, but the magic missile will fly into Lube. JB, what the hell am I talking about? I am really out of it now. He's going to go down. Those Scoochie damage will fly through. Rainbow Dashing going to get hit up by the Searing Change. He's going to shallow grave himself, but running away probably won't be enough for him, as Easy will catch him on the backlines. No, magic missile will fly out. Finally, a Malefice to clean up the Rainbow Dashing there, but Tom Cruise running away from the jungle to find that one. Dasperju could actually be in a little bit of trouble. He has Miko coming in. Doesn't have enough for a Searing Change, but has the move speed to just cream him with the Flame Guard damage that eventually runs out, so he's going to have to get himself away. Probably going to the side, grabbing a TP and teleporting on back, but
hit your tab key and look at what happened. Again.
Oh my god, really? During all that engagement?
During all of that engagement,
Banana Slam Jamma is slamming it home on the Huskar.
It's so scary. And then Enigma like walked right by the Weaver, and I'm like, oh god, please just don't feed this guy. Like, it's the last thing that you need to have happen, because Enigma walked by with like 100 health while Weaver was in Shikuchi, and there was just this random, like, there's two ways you can go inside of these trees right here, and Weaver went down on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, Enigma comes up, and they just narrowly missed one another. The damage on Shikuchi on that specific lane was just, it would have easily killed Enigma instantaneously and turned out so much worse, but it's already 5-1 for Justice. They have a phenomenal start.
No,
Not only does he have 3 kills, oh god. He's just too high of a level. Royson can't sustain.
Actually, he might have go down. The Searing Change shouldn't be enough to kill him alone with a Flame Guard. He's actually going to just turn around and clean up Royson. He goes down,
at least
but that
he
is
doesn't get the
perfectly
experience.
fine. Yeah, Royson won't get the experience. However,
No,
Banana Slam Jamma won't get the experience, and that's a whole lot to go the way of Miko and Royson there. So a decent kill for them. I think that's better than anything they could have imagined. However, they still lose Royson, who probably could have just held back and not died at all. And Banana Slam Jamma will get another kill for under his name. That's another bit of gold. But if there's anything I know from Dota, it's that this won't be enough to win them this game. However, it is going to set into motion a chain of events that could end up having Banana Slam Jamma coming out of his lane with a much more farm than you'd expect. In fact, he's picked up a headdress already. He could just be going for the team's mech.
Potentially. I guess we'll see exactly how it kind of pans out. Weaver goes sustain with Midas, so they know that they can take this lane now that they've had such a successful safe lane. It almost looked like, pardon me, we were going to see Venge come out and get a roam kill on mid, but good teleport support from LG, not wanting that to happen. They can't afford any more losses. I'm pretty sure one good team fight gets them back into this, but their Drow is so starved right now. Yeah, one really bad team fight stops them, and there's such an uphill battle to climb against Huskar unless he finds himself in a bad position. Rotating up right now, LG, seeing if they can get on top of them. And Royson taking way too much damage from creeps. Did you just see that? He got half health by the creeps, and he walked right over an Obs.
Yeah, that was very poor play from them. I mean, they wanted the gank, but to be perfectly honest, if you're going to attempt a gank like that, where you're walking through this wide open area, even if you think you're not going to be seen down here, which Royson did think, you need to de-ward. because
Or it's
there's
on
going to be
bottom.
something
Royson, he's
spawning
going to
up.
expend
Yep.
an ult on top of this tower potentially. And there's a Ravage. There's a stun at
can't
the
kill
same
him.
time. They can't stagger. No, he's going to turn. He can easily turn and take one. And oh my god, that was so greedy. He dies anyways, but again, feeds the Tidehunter the experience back into the game. But for all the glowing, reviews we gave of the early game of Banana, he's just kind of throwing it back. And right now, Weaver on top of Tom Cruise on the top lane. JB finally able to get on top of him. He's got enough mana to get out just fine. Das Bearju follows up on Enigma though, and he's going to go down, it looks like. The actual Geminate, not quite enough silence to make sure he doesn't follow it up yet. But Das Bearju on top of the tower with the haste rune, able to secure that. Crixus not wanting it to be over. JB in a lot of trouble. Ultimate expend, and he's going to go down right under the guise of his tower as they pick up 2 for Justice top lane. Just as it looked like LG might be out of harm's way, it looks like they overstayed their welcome away from their tower, had no teleport support from their team, and as a result, paid dearly.
So I called
Dyer's
JB
top tower's
Luber
getting
on this
beat
game, and it
down.
really seems like he could use some right now. That was just pure hate coming out from the Justice League, and he goes down, and a fight that ultimately, if the puck had
Dyer
not
might
been there,
wanna mine
he would
that
not have
top
gone
tower.
down. So a great rotation coming out from the Justice League, making sure they squeeze every drop of advantage out of the fights they get in the early
Dyer's
game,
top
because
tower's
I think
getting
they
beat
realized
down.
that Banana Slam Jamma got so many kills in the early game that it actually was
Dyer's
it
lost the
hindered them a
top
lot
tower.
because he died and gave up all that
Radiant's
advantage,
bottom tower
and maybe
ain't it
even
pretty
gave
sad
some
right
more
now.
advantage than he got. So he's going to have to inch his way back into this one. Going up on Miku in the mid lane will be the start of that advantage. You see the flame burning through the flame guard, and the pure auto attack damage will come through, but it's going to drop him ultimately to about 170. He's going to be able to bottle straight back up. But coming in is Crixus, and now they're grouping up in this mid lane. They want more towers. Tier 1 top is gone, Tier 1 bottom is gone, and the one thing left, the most logical choice next, would be the Tier 1 mid.
Hey, give me just 1 second real quick here.
Second considered given, as the Tier 1 taking a little bit of
Dyer's
tower.
mid-tower won't
or-
last much
wow, the Tier
longer.
1 taking a little bit of damage. Royson and JB here in the top lane doing whatever they can to push this one out. Both have teleport scrolls, so 10 seconds on the Drow's cooldown means that if they really start putting up some pressure on right now, it may be a little bit too late, but now she can TP in. It's all set and go if they want to go ahead with some reaction teleports coming in. Miko will get magic missiled up, as well as the Wave of Terror flying through to reduce his armor, but Banana Slam Jamma not able to get as much damage off. A little bit careful to throw down the life break because he doesn't want to be too aggressive here. Royson going in on... Actually, no, they don't even know Crixus is here. He's got an Invis rune. A big Dream Coil here could be big issues for them, as in comes the life break from Banana Slam Jamma, dropping on a lot of HP, but he will go in. A Ravage actually happens behind the scenes. Ember Spirit will clean up Weaver, but in comes Huskar. Will clean up Tom Cruise, who drops the black hole before he dies. That's on cooldown. Now Banana Slam Jamma will go down, actually dropping a lot of damage on the Miko. Miko will drop. In comes Crixus trying to kill up JB. Will grab, what is that? Ogre Magi with an illusory orb. Now a wave,
Dyer's
Waiting Rift will
mid-tower
come
could use a
out,
little
but
help.
won't be enough to kill up JB, and JB will be perfectly fine, but a 2 for 2. Core support for Core. And I think Literally Gaming take a little bit better. Actually, no, they lost Enigma. What am I talking about? Enigma and a Black Hole cooldown. So the Justice League taking a very good fight. Back toward the mid lane, though, as it seems most of the action going to be coming down here. But in the peripherals, we have Easy. Could see a little bit of trouble with Crixus Illusory Orbing in. Eventually going to just back out here, though. And Shea Doctor farming up Eidolons on the top lane. Both trying to farm up as best they can, but the Tier 1 mid still stands. And the rest of Justice League are going to go back and do what they do best. Rainbow Dashing, going to stack the Ancient Camp for his carries here. And who really takes those Ancient Camps? No one really has cleave or AoE damage. Taking the Ancient's going to be very difficult if they stack it up more than 3 times. Even now it's going to be difficult. More is just going to be food for Miko if he wants to take that. Rainbow Dashing, going to hit himself and TP out. No Searing Chains to stop him. 5 seconds on cooldown by the time the TP ends, so he's going to be just fine for the time being. Banana Slam Jamma, though, could be in a little bit of trouble. There is a Sleight of Fist into the Searing Chains, but, I mean, you've got so much magic resistance on this guy. It does very close to nothing. He is perfectly fine and ready to tank up as much as he needs to. Only person he really needs to be afraid of right now is JB with his immense auto attack damage, cutting straight through the magical resistance that Banana Slam Jamma has. But JB suffers his own drawbacks when Huskar goes ahead and life breaks up right next to JB, so... I really the feel of this game seems to be going in favor of the Justice League, but they've only given themselves a 5,000 gold advantage and less than 2,000 XP advantage here at 13 minutes in, despite being up 7 kills. So at the moment, going fairly slowly. Both teams want to try to play a little passive, but it looks like in terms of, yeah, actually no, both teams playing it passive, and nothing more to say about that one. They are content with farming up. It looks like Huskar, he's got the Glove of Haste as well as the Blade of Attack up. He might just be going for a Maelstrom. In fact, I think that is the build for the Maelstrom, isn't it? So, no, that's the build for the Armlet. What am I talking about? I'm really dropping the ball this game. So, Armlet will be picked up by him, and with that coming out, that's going to help him, and on top of the Shallow Grave to just deal a ton of damage out, but still, nothing really happening as it seems like Ever joining me in this game. Actually, just as you join in, Shade Doctor could be in a little bit of trouble. Will it be able to time-lapse out? But 2 remnants in from Miko. Still at pretty good mana here. With the Searing Chains, Shade Doctor's in a lot of trouble. They're trying to find him, but Shakuchi's up and teleports out. Very nice play from him.
You know, taking a look over at the net worth of this game, it's really hard to stomach. Like, they need a big team fight on the LG side to stop what's happening to them, and I don't know if they have enough gas in the tank to shut down a Huskar quickly. They prove that they did if they make a mistake, but already Royson in a lot of trouble. Banana on top of him. Royson trying to get back to the well, and that Kraken Shell may yet save his life. 7 stacks, burning down quickly.
Could die.
Oh, God. It's going to be so close. Oh, God.
So Kraken Shell does not remove the Burning Spears.
No. But the Kraken Shell definitely reduces the damage, and that's all I was implying. It kept him up long enough, and he's tanky enough, but he's so broke, looking for that Blink Dagger just to initiate for his team. If they get a good initiation and follow up from the Black Hole, they could easily make a team fight there without question.
By and large, a Blink Dagger by 18 minutes is not too bad. In fact, I think in terms of Blink Dagger timings, that's pretty average for a non-core. So, you know, not too bad for him if he can get that Blink Dagger up by 18. Unfortunately, the problem's going to arise if he just gets bursted down like that by the Huskar in the team fight before he can get his ultimate off. I mean, if he gets Waning Rifted before he can get his Ravage off and then Huskar blows him up, that gives so much opportunity for the rest of the Justice League to put themselves in a position where a Black Hole isn't even going to matter. So, that said, if the Black Hole does come out, we don't see the battle anywhere close to being completed on Miko. In fact, not even started, but the drums will be finished up fairly soon, which is all they can hope for at the moment. Literally Gaming, I don't think they're going to have to come into this fight, coming into this game kicking and screaming. I think they're in a better position to come back into this game than what would it look like if you just look at the kill score alone. But at the moment, I think the Justice League can grab this game by the throat if they make the right plays in the next coming minutes, and we'll see if they can go ahead and do that.
Man, I'm having crazy mic troubles tonight. I'm just mic impaired in the middle of all these random things going on. Anyways, I agree with your assessment on it. I really hope that we get to see some exciting ultimates, as that's exactly what I think we were looking for with this lineup. But it might just be Huskar just taking such a huge advantage that we may yet to see it. 3 rotating down towards mid lane. Drow out there on her own. Doesn't really have anything to get away, but they're not able to get on top of her. She backs up. It is daytime, so she will have the ability to see any of this coming along. Do you think they fight over this tier 1? It looks like they're pinging it out for a defense, and it does look like Justice will group up as 5. Who do you think wins this? And do you think a tier 1's worth fighting over?
It's hard to say, but to be honest, if
decide
they went in and ravaged right then, they would have won that fight. But now it's going to be a little bit tricky. They go in, they ravage, they catch 3. The big thing here is that the Vengeful Spirit was caught in that. Now she will swap out Tom Cruise. The Waning Rift does come out. None of their ultimates got off. Now they finally get the Black Hole, but again, it comes out right before he dies. Royson trying to teleport out. Does he survive with the 4 stacks? He will survive.
Mid-tower's having technical
But it's very difficult now because they just lost a pretty big fight there. In fact, is that Ember Spirit dying? It looks like no. He was taking damage for some reason. I couldn't exactly find the cause of it, but that fight got lost. The tier 1 tower goes down. Roche is open for them, and they're going to go for it. And it looks like, yeah, they're going to go ahead and take Roche up very quickly with the weave going down on top of that one. The armor's there, trying to steal the Aegis, but Miko opting not to go for it. He's instead going to just go ahead and throw out the Searing Chains. Nothing really more than just empty harass coming out from there, but with a fresh new Aegis and a fight going as poorly as they did, Black Hole on cooldown, I don't know if the next fight can be won by literal Justice League, as they try going on a Banana Slam Jamma, and Royson ends up almost taking a fall for that one. He could live here. The mech comes in. Do they have a shallow grave? They don't, but it is an Aegis being expended. And the rest of the Justice League are here and ready to fight as Shea Doctor chasing down JB, but won't be able to get a kill. The rest of Justice League ready to go here into the mid lane push. Let's see if they can get the tower, if a successful defense can come out from Literally Gaming. Now it looks like we've got a die back coming out from Puck. Puck should end up dropping, though. Drops the Dream Coil, but very empty Dream Coil now. Weaver going to get the tower, but in comes Rayson, trying to find Rainbow Dashing. A couple of Burning Spears will cause him to disengage for the time being. Now Miko taking a lot of damage to Bearju and Shea Doctor, chasing on that one. A Malefice onto Shea Doctor, though, as Huskar, Banana Slam Jamma, will find 2 here. Double kill for him as Royson will be the second. Now Miko dropping low, and I think Literally Gaming have run out of gas. They are just dropping way too fast, and the advantage that it seems they had hindered 5 to 10 minutes ago seems to have just completely snowballed right again in the Justice League's favor. As it seems, I think Ever's having a little bit of technical difficulties coming in.
The Dire couldn't hang on to that mid tower.
Yeah, I think he's dropped out for the time being. We'll see where he is. Check back on him.
Nope, I'm good.
You're
now.
good? You're good?
Yeah,
all right.
Barracks going down. All right.
Dire's mid-rags ain't around no more.
All right, so what? I assume you were watching. If you weren't, what do you have to say about what just transpired?
Really exactly what should transpire. Honestly, like, they needed to lose that Rax. It's a 15k gold difference. LG just doesn't have the ability to take a lot of these team fights. It looks like it's coming down to, you know, a minuscule amount of units. That initial team fight on the tier 1 that occurred, that Venge literally sat there and stunned the Enigma almost instantly, and that's why he got as low as he did. He didn't execute the black hole when he should have, a little bit further away, and it's those minor things that have cost him the game. And I can say those minor things kind of cost them. It cost them the comeback. I won't say the game, because that's an unfair way to put it. I think what cost them the game was the fact that Huskar got as big as he did as quickly as he did. And that's the thing that upsets me. Is, you know, it didn't give LG a chance to execute. They now have the ability to execute, but they don't have enough health or even damage to sustain a fight. It's 21 minutes in. You have a Drow Ranger that has a Yasha and boots. The net worth is 12k on Huskar. It's 4k. You know, that's triple the net worth on Drow. I think a GG should be called soon here.
I think
hopefully after one additional team fight. But the damage would have to come from something like Midnight Pulse, which he doesn't have, you know, and it's a level 1 black hole. So is it even enough damage to kind of take care of things? And even with Casino Magi, like, it all is on the weight of Ember. I don't think Ember has enough to substantiate it. It's just really unfortunate. It's a good draft. It really is. It just, their laning did not go well.
Interesting draft, but it's a greedy draft. And it's a draft that relies on perfect execution, which, to be honest, they didn't exactly have in this game. I mean, you saw the best attempt at executing it was a 3-man Ravage, maybe 4-man. The Black Hole didn't come in fast enough. I mean, he was very slow in the Black Hole, and what that meant is that an instant that they got off the stun, the Waning Rift came out. And that was it. They lost the fight. So they just need to be either a little bit quicker, or they're just going to lose this game outright. And if they cannot defend this Rax, I'd say the game doesn't go more than 5 minutes from this point on, as it looks like they're going to break the high ground. Banana Slam Jamma going to go in. Miko, that is the first time I've seen that disjointed, actually. Wow, Banana Slam Jamma not actually getting the life break off. Will eventually get onto JB here, but now the black hole comes out. They catch that's Bearju. What are you doing? Jumps into the black hole. Now Ravage goes out, but he dies anyway because of it. Out goes Miku, and down goes Tom Cruise. Slam Jamma cleans up easy. Miko down again, and, well, GG. GG goes out.
there's just nothing that they can do. You know, this lineup is just I
That's a
think
win for
the ogre
Radiant.
just doesn't provide them anything in lane, and as a result, they not only lost that lane, but they lost the off lane. It just crushed down on them, and they couldn't sustain the weight. But that's all right. It looked like LG had a decent night, but Justice comes back in game 1s and asserts authority in game 2, and it was an